All right, so you wanted the deep dive on Bitcoin, AI, their impact on the future, and we got you covered. We're diving into insights from Eric Weiss, early Bitcoin investor extraordinaire.
This guy's journey is a wild ride, honestly. It
Ugh.
really highlights how our thinking about value has, totally shifted. You'll see what I mean.
I'm ready. Let's rewind. 2013, Bitcoin, still this underground thing, and Weiss, already big shot in tech, walks into this tiny Bitcoin conference, like barely 100 people right here in Miami.
Okay, but this is where it gets juicy, right? You, with your tech background, you'd get what Weiss was already seeing the internet, for all its hype, couldn't actually move value securely. Bitcoin changed that.
Mind blown moment right there. And he gets hooked, obviously. Even thought about ditching his job to go all in on a Bitcoin company. Imagine that pitch back then.
Seriously, try explaining that in 2013. Most folks were like, crypto what now? Blockchain was unheard of.
Right. It's like digital gold, you'd say, but you send it instantly, anywhere, no banks needed. People would have thought you were from Mars.
No kidding. Here's the kicker. He buys Bitcoin that year, 2013, around $600 a coin. Sells it all a year later.
Wild, right?
Hold up, what happened? Seems so sure after that aha moment you described.
Timing is everything,
Uh-huh.
right? He understood the potential, but it was the Wild West back then. Volatile as hell. Nobody knew if it lasts a week. The risk was off the charts, even for someone in the know.
So even selling, he never really wrote Bitcoin off, did he?
Not a chance. He saw the potential, even if the risk wasn't right for him personally. This is key. You gotta know the difference between an asset's potential and your own risk tolerance.
Which leads us to now. He's actually saying Bitcoin might be a better investment today. And not just because the price is higher.
Exactly. It's about what that price reflects, right?
Hmm.
More adoption, big institutions buying in, actual real-world uses. The foundation is way more solid. Means less of the crazy speculation, even with Bitcoin's natural ups and downs.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Before we go any further, gotta ask, what about Michael Saylor? You said Weiss was the one who brought him into the fold, right? Oh man, that's a story for next time. And trust me, you do not want to miss it.
All right, so Weiss is back in the Bitcoin game, hanging out with Michael Saylor, and things are about to get really wild, right?
This is where it goes beyond just Bitcoin for Weiss. It stops being about the tech, the investment even becomes something way bigger.
Okay, now I'm hooked. Lay it on me.
So picture this. You've got Saylor, right, pouring hundreds of millions, corporate treasury no less, into magic internet money. The guy had to do his homework, and I mean seriously.
Oh, yeah. Saylor doesn't strike me as the impulsive type.
Exactly. He couldn't just skim the surface. This is about understanding Bitcoin at its core, which meant questioning everything. History of money, the role of government, the whole damn thing.
Whoa. Okay, this is starting to sound less like investing, more like an existential crisis waiting to happen.
You'd be surprised how many Bitcoiners feel the same way. It's like waking up to a whole new reality most people are completely oblivious to.
So how did Weiss describe that shift? Was there like a single aha moment for him?
He's got this analogy for how Bitcoin changed his view on inflation. It's brilliant. Imagine your favorite restaurant, right? That go-to dish, maybe it's like $35. You get it every week.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Getting hungry just thinking about it.
All right, now imagine, overnight, they put this dome over the entire city,
Yeah.
right? Like some sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And they doubled everyone's money.
Wait, so everyone wakes up with twice the cash in their accounts. Talk about chaos.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The actual stuff, the goods and services, that $35 dish, nothing's changed. So you go back for your usual order. What do you think it costs now?
I'm guessing 35 bucks ain't gonna cut it anymore. Everything just got a whole lot more expensive.
Bingo. It's going to be somewhere between 35 and 70 bucks now, right?
Mhm.
Because everyone's got twice the money chasing the same amount of stuff. That's inflation, Weiss style.
Damn. That's way more understandable than any econ textbook I've ever suffered through.
See, that's the power of a good story, right?
Mhm.
Suddenly, inflation isn't this abstract concept. It's your dinner getting pricier because the government went on a printing spree.
Which they've been doing for decades. Printing money like it's going out of style.
Exactly. By making it relatable, that favorite meal, Weiss, makes you feel it. And that feeling, that's what pushes people to look for alternatives. Bitcoin being a big one.
Okay, starting to get why this was such a big deal for Weiss and Saylor, but why should I care? What's the takeaway for the average person?
Because questioning those narratives, the official stories, especially about inflation, it's crucial, man. Bitcoin forces that conversation. It's money that's much harder to manipulate. At least that's the whole idea.
It makes you look at the money in your bank account a little differently, I'll give you that. But speaking of money, how does a guy like Weiss, who's seen it all, actually explain Bitcoin's value? Okay, say I'm skeptical, right? heard of Bitcoin, maybe even get it, but I'm still not sold. How does someone like Weiss, after all this time, actually explain Bitcoin's value, especially compared to, like, gold or real estate?
See, that's where those unique Bitcoin traits come in. Take gold, been a store of value forever.
Yeah.
But clunky, right? Physical, got to store it safely, which adds costs.
Yeah, try moving a ton of gold across the world quickly. Not exactly convenient.
Exactly. Bitcoin solves that. It's all digital, stored securely offline, cold storage, we call it send it anywhere, almost instantly.
But scarcity, right. Gold's valuable because it's rare. Can't they just make more Bitcoin if they wanted to?
That's the beauty of Bitcoin's design. 21 million, that's it, ever. Hard-coded limit, no government, no central bank can just print more. That's scarcity you don't get with your usual assets.
Makes sense. But here's a worry I hear a lot: government overreach. What's stopping them from just taking it, like they did with gold back in the 30s?
This is where it gets wild. Weiss actually thinks the big players, getting in BlackRock, Fidelity, those guys might actually protect against that.
Hold up, really? More big players usually means more control, doesn't it?
Think about it. Bitcoin ain't some fringe thing anymore. It's going mainstream fast. And when these institutions are in deep, they'll protect their investment, right?
Nobody wants to lose billions if the bottom falls out.
Exactly. The more the enemy, as some might see it, invests, the harder they'll fight any ban or confiscation. They become, weirdly enough, allies for sound money.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you put it that way.
Let's switch gears for a sec. AI. Weiss is all over it, just like Bitcoin. Sounds like he's using it for everything these days.
Oh, totally. He talks about ditching Google, going all in on ChatGPT, research, directions, even heavy legal stuff, all through ChatGPT now.
Wow, no more Google. That's dedication.
Right. Shows how powerful these AI tools already are, and he's adamant we're just getting started.
So what's next? What does a world swimming in AI actually look like?
Imagine things that used to need human smarts: coding, diagnosing illnesses, all automated. The boost to productivity, efficiency, it's massive.
But also a lot of upheaval, right? Jobs lost, people got to adapt, can't ignore that side of it.
It's the trade-off, right? Every tech revolution comes with its own growing pains. Got to be thinking about that now, not when it's too late.
For sure. Okay, so where do Bitcoin and AI meet? What connections is Weiss making? He's really into this idea of Bitcoin being AI's native currency, you know?
Interesting. How would that even work, and what does it mean in the grand scheme of things?
Remember us talking about AI needing crazy computing power, maybe even competing for energy. Bitcoin miners, they're already pros at securing, managing those energy-heavy setups. They could become the providers for AI, and what better way to handle the money side of that than with Bitcoin itself?
Okay, logistically, I kind of see it. But wouldn't that give AI a ton of power? Having a currency, even a digital one, feels like a power move.
Oh, it totally could. And this is where it gets even wilder. Imagine AI making financial calls on its own. Huge scale.
Now we're in sci-fi territory, for sure.
Maybe. But if AI gets that powerful, economically speaking, wouldn't it want to work within a system that's secure, transparent, not messed with like our current systems? Isn't that Bitcoin's whole thing?
You're saying AI might get Bitcoin even better than we do.
It's possible. And then it's not just AI using Bitcoin, it's AI becoming this force for Bitcoin, right? They both benefit, this whole symbiotic thing.
Wild. So after all this, what's Weiss's main takeaway? What does he want someone just starting to wrap their head around all this to walk away with?
Do your research, brace for ups and downs, and if you're in on Bitcoin, don't sell.
Solid advice. But we've seen those last two are tough, even for the pros.
No doubt, which is why he's big on staying positive, focusing on the good these technologies can do. It's bigger than just the tech, the money, it's the ideas behind them, you know?
It's individual control, economic freedom, building a system that's fairer, more transparent, stuff that matters beyond just ourselves.
Exactly. Powerful stuff. So as we wrap this deep dive, one last thought. If AI starts making its own money moves, will it pick Bitcoin? And what does that tell us about the future of money itself?
That's a lot to chew on. Thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.